my name is Hayden, and welcome to my Ignite. In this Ignite, I'll be showing my progress and information on the American Revolutionary War. I'll be showing you how I learned my information, and I hope you enjoy my Ignite. My class and I have been building a boat. We have been using drills, hammers, and more to build a boat. We have been sanding, and I had a lot of fun making this boat with my class. We have been making symbols of freedom for decorations. I had a virtual visit to the American Revolutionary Boston Tea Party ship, where we had a Zoom with someone who had a replica of the Boston Tea Party ship, and we got to say our opinions and more on the American Revolutionary War. Liberty Kids. I have been watching an animation called Liberty Kids. This is where there is an animation and it's revolving around Liberty Kids, and they tell me lots of facts on the American Revolutionary War. I also have been making an infographic. This is where I take a lot of my information and make a timeline on the American Revolutionary War. I talk about all the events that occurred on the American Revolutionary War. I also lastly had a debate. It was loyalists against patriots. You got a sign if you're a loyalist or a patriot. You have to give them reasons why they should become loyalists, because I was a loyalist and I had to come up with reasons. This is my Ignite. I hope you enjoy and learn more about the events that occurred during the American Revolutionary War.
Hi, my name is Isaac and I've been learning...
One second, what's your turns?
Hi, my name is Isaac and I have been learning about the road to the revolution. I have been working with my class to find information. We use resources like Dexter's and BrainPod. Working with my group was hard. We had some challenges like a greenhouse, but we got through it. One project that we worked on was building a boat that inspired the Boston Tea Party. We've been drilling and hammering screws and nails into wood to connect the pieces of wood to build the boat. I am very excited about this project. We had a virtual field trip to the Boston Tea Party ships and museum. We all liked those pictures or loyalists. We took a look at the replica of the boat, and we saw what was inside an old chest. It was tea. In class, we were listening to King George Lewis the 12th. I really liked this book because it had a lot of facts about King George and the Revolutionary War, and all the facts were presented in a very humorous way. We have also been debating. Our job as debaters is to come up with 3 pieces of evidence that we use to debate against the patriots. My group and I have also been building a timeline board. This represents all of the different events that have been leading up to the American Revolution. We documented events like the Townshend Act, the Boston Massacre, and the French and Indian War, and the Boston Tea Party. I really enjoyed doing this project about the American Revolution. My favorite thing that we did is building the boat. I want to give a special thanks to Ms. Berner and Ms. Volpe. Thank you for watching this Ignite. Huzzah!
Hello, my name is Eli, and in this Ignite, I will be telling you about the American Revolution and the process of how I learned about it. I started in a group working on a timeline. On the timeline, we wrote about the events leading up to the American Revolutionary War. The events that my group and I researched were the French and Indian War, the Molasses Act, the Stamp Act, the Boston Massacre, the Boston Tea Party, the Intolerable Acts, the First Continental Congress, and the Declaration of Independence. After we concluded the group project, we started infographics about the events leading up to the American Revolution. I created a red, white, and blue pattern. On the infographic, we did the same events as the storyboard with a few extras. The extras that I did on my infographic were the Sons of Liberty and the Midnight Ride. We had been working on tool practice. We are using tool practice so we can build a Boston Tea Party ship out of wood. We have been using hammers and drills. We are making the Boston Tea Party ship out of wood, and we started with sanding the wood, and the sanding was hard, but it was really fun. Then we made panels and planks, and now we are putting them together. We have been working on debate. I have been assigned as a patriot in Group 2. I'm debating against the loyalists in Group 2. So far, we have done 2 rounds, a starting and a rebuttal. Thank you for listening to how I learned about the American Revolution and the process of how I learned about it. Thank you.
Just wait. This would clock.
Hi, my name is Chloe. I'm going to talk about my process of learning about the American Revolution. I learned a lot of interesting facts while I was researching, such as the Sons of Liberty only wanted to destroy the tea during the Boston Tea Party. My teacher shared a Padlet with my class and me about the events leading up to the American Revolution. I saw some videos on the Padlet were informative, interesting, and fun, such as Liberty Kids. My group and I made a timeline about the events leading up to the American Revolution. It was fun and also challenging. It was challenging because we couldn't add all the details we learned to the timeline. Every so often, I worked on a reflection slideshow to reflect on what I had learned that day. The slides were really helpful because they helped me gather and organize information for this Ignite. I made an infographic on the road to the Revolutionary War. It was challenging because I couldn't add all the facts I learned to the infographic. The infographic helped me realize that there were years before the American Revolution started. We had a virtual visit to the Boston Tea Party ships and museum. I learned that there were 340 chests of tea on board the 3 ships. All the tea was shipped from the West India Company. Overall, everything I've learned about the American Revolution helped for this Ignite. I liked researching. Thank you for watching this Ignite.
Hi, my name is Raya, and I am learning about the American Revolution. I learned that it's not just a one-day thing that you can learn about in one day. I have been learning about the American Revolution for a long time, and I still learn something new each day. I'm going to talk about the process. First, before I give it the Padlet to you, there are videos, articles, and pictures in the Padlet. The Padlet gave us a lot of information. We took notes about the videos and articles we read and saw. It was very fun and exciting because there were so many resources to look at and see. The resources were under a specific column that said what they were about. That made it easier when Miss Boyer would say something like, tonight, learn about King George III, or read about the Intolerant Blacks. It was way more organized that way. Then we got into groups, got a phone board, and wrote down some of the historical moments in the American Revolution. Then I added all my information into an infographic, and that became my timeline. I added some facts about the American Revolution too. We are also doing debating for the American Revolution. We get assigned a side and debate whether you should stay loyal to the king if you are a loyalist, or whether you should rebel against the king if you are a patriot. I got assigned a patriot. The last thing I'm going to tell you about is how we are building a boat from the Boston Tea Party. It is fun because we get to add freedom symbols to flags and tea boxes for the boat. We get to build the boat from scratch. We learn more about how ships are made and that stuff. Thanks for listening to my presentation. It was very hard to learn about the American Revolution, but very fun at the same time. I hope you liked my presentation. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to my Ignite. On this Ignite, I will be talking about the American Revolution. It started in the mid-1700s with a war called the 7 Years' War. There were many acts such as the Stamp Act, the Manassas Act, and the Entitlement Act. The process of my group wasn't bad. Our task was to create a timeline of the events that led up to the American Revolution. We got most of our information from Bigfoot Industries. We made an infographic for acts such as, and special events like the Boston Tea Party and the Boston Massacre. Mr. Cassell taught us to do this. We used woodworking tools to practice for the Boston Tea Party vote. I loved the drill because the sound of the drill was cool, but you could also do a lot with it as well. The hammer was not as fun as the drill, but they're still cool and awesome to experience. Miss Volpe taught us how to debate from a loyalist to a patriot. I went to LRC and I went against a classmate. He was a loyalist. I took everything from him and my evidence and I won. In conclusion, these projects and slides are clearly fun and interesting. I really learned a lot about the American Revolution and what it led up to. I really enjoyed everything, and if you try, you might as well have fun too. Thank you for coming along.
Hi, my name is Isabel. Today we'll be talking about my research process around the Revolutionary War. This was a very fun experience, so I'm very excited to be talking about it. I hope you enjoy my presentation as much as I like making it. The first thing I did was research important events around the Revolutionary War, such as the French and Indian War. I got my information from a Padlet with lots of links to articles and videos. To do this, I worked with the group and we recorded our information on a board. This is my infographic. It is a timeline with important events leading up to the Revolutionary War. Most of the information from this is from the past project my group's board. This was very fun to do because I love working with Google Drawings. In class, the whole first grade is building a boat. This is very fun because we got to learn how to use a drill and hammer. My idea for the name of the boat was Libertatum Navis. It got put into a Google form and it won. I think that the most fun thing I did during these events was that I attended the Boston Tea Party Ships and Museum Zoom. This was very fun because everybody got their own character to play with a card about the character. I did not get a speaking part, but still the Zoom was very fun. And I also did a debate. This debate was whether the Patriots or Loyalists are right to gain independence from Britain. I was a Patriot, and once I got assigned my group, I really started working on the reasons. I went through the Declaration of Independence to try and find good reasons. In conclusion, all these projects are very fun, and I was very excited to do all of them. Sometimes it was hard, but I worked through them with help from a group, or sometimes just by pushing myself. Thank you for watching my presentation. Hi, my name is Alexa, and I will be talking about my process of the American Revolution. Miss Boyer gave us a Padlet with all types of resources that we used for notes. This is my board. I made it with Chloe and Jane. This has all different types of acts, and this is where I put all the notes I put all of these notes on my infographic. This is my infographic. These are most of all the acts. And these were all the notes from my board. Then we started to build a boat. We first learned how to use a hammer. We learned how to nail in the hammer and we learned how to use a hammer and how to nail how to hammer, and we used how to then an annoying part is then when I put on the goggles and I took a breath, it always fogged up. Then when I was using the gloves and I tried to take something out of my hair, it got in my hair. Hope you enjoyed my presentation. And one thing that I learned is that
It's harder than you think studying the American Revolution. Hope you enjoyed it. Hello, my name is David, and I'm going to be talking about the process leading road to the revolution. We all had to work on gathering information for the things that we researched, like the taxes that King George passed, important people in history anyway. Me and my group had to make a big timeline. We took notes from the Padlet that the teacher sent us, and then used the notes to add stuff onto the timeline. This is my AR timeline. AR means American Revolution. So basically, we just took notes. We just put the information from the big timeline into the AR timeline. I had a little. I struggled at putting notes at first, but when we got to the AR timeline, I just put stuff on the Padlet in. We also got to build the boat. The boat was made out of wood, and we got to use hammers and drills to build it. And we also got to, we also had a visit to the Boston Tea Party Ships and Museum. It was really fun. At the end, the person, she opened the box and she threw the tea into the sea. I think this project was very helpful, and I think I learned a lot. Thank you for listening.
Right here.
Hi, my name is Jen. I'm going to be explaining the process of me learning about the road to the revolution and what I did with the knowledge of this, like making cool projects. I hope you enjoy it. First, I had to research and take notes. I had a pad that was sent to information. The hardest part of this was to not repeat any information in my notes. I liked researching about the road to the revolution. Another thing I'm learning about is debates. I have a team of 3 other people. We are patriots. The debate is a similar style to an essay. I am pretending like I'm in colonial times and debating if we should gain independence over Britain. An awesome thing I'm doing is making an infographic. It is a timeline with information and pictures. This is one of my favorite projects because I get to show information in a cool way. I love to build things. At school, I am building a wooden boat. I already practiced using drill hammers. I do not have trouble using these materials and cannot wait to continue building our very big boat. I also like to go on field trips. I went on a virtual field trip with the Boston Tea Party Ships and Museum. I learned a lot of details about the Boston Tea Party by pretending like I was in colonial times and watching videos about the Boston Tea Party. Overall, I'm having a great time learning about the road to the revolution and making cool projects. My favorite projects were building the boat and making my infographic, as I was very creative. Thank you for watching!
Hi, my name is Jaden, and welcome to my unit. I will be talking about the American Revolution in our projects. We had to research events before the American Revolution, such as the Boston Tea Party, sugar axe, the craft, and many more. One helpful resource was Ducksters. Ducksters is really helpful because it has information on all the events. I also used a Padlet my teacher shared with me. I had videos and websites on each event too. Well, we put our information on the infographic. We got assigned groups and made our infographic on a film board. One thing that was challenging is that if we wanted to add that to our infographic that we didn't have research on, we had to go research it. We made an online version at the end. My class went to a virtual museum. We saw what happened during the Boston Tea Party. There was a replica of the Boston Tea Party ship. I learned that the colonists asked the British to take the tea back home, but the British didn't. In my class, we were making a ship inspired of the Boston Tea Party ship out of wood. I learned how to use a drill and hammer. One thing that was challenging is sanding it because you have to push hard on the wood. In my class, we made a debate. We got assigned groups. Our group was either a loyalist or a patriot. I was a patriot. We had to come up with 3 reasons why we shouldn't pay taxes. I wasn't here for the first debate, but I was here for the second one. I got to see some of the photos. This is really fun. I learned so much about the past. My favorite thing was building a boat because I got to use woodworking tools. One thing that was challenging is doing 2 projects at once. Thank you for watching.
Hi, my name is Anya, and today I'll be showing the process my teammates and I took to learn the road to the Revolution. The road to the Revolution is a series of events leading up to the Revolutionary War. We built ships, flags, infographics, etc. On April 20th, we started to learn about the road to the Revolution. There was a lot to do. We did research almost every day, and then after a few weeks, we started piling all these notes into some Post-its and sticking them to a board. I did pictures of what I thought would be happening if I had seen these events myself. I also stumbled upon an informational TV show called Liberty Kids. It's basically a show about 3 kids going through the Revolutionary War. We also started making infographics. We used Google drawings to make digital timelines, and we supplied the information with the information we had on our board. I also learned that the rebels called themselves patriots because they couldn't go around saying they were traitors. On May 7th, Ms. Bowlby came into our classroom to talk to us about debate. Ms. Boyer started to teach us how to use bills and use tools. I learned that we're making ships and tea crates. We used our freedom symbols and we put them on like tea crates and flags. And we painted and we drew using Sharpie and yeah. So overall, I mean, this is a very bumpy experience, like because there's like deadlines and cooperation. But overall, it was like a really fun process because we got to do a lot of other stuff. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation.
Hi, my name is Teddy, and I will be talking about the road to the American Revolutionary War and the experiences I went through to get to that stage. I hope you have fun watching. My notes were very helpful in my project because I had to use my notes to learn a lot of information in the projects. I used many resources to help me get information. This is a boat, not any ordinary boat, but a boat that we were building off of. My teacher helped us learn to use drills and hammers to build this boat. This is my infographic. I spent a lot of time working on it. It has lots of information on each event, like the Boston Tea Party. Some challenges my group and I faced was when we had some trouble having distractions. That was a very bad part because when we got off track, we were having problems. Thank you for your attention. I hope you like the road to the American Revolutionary War, and I hope you can also learn too. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Janet, and I'll be talking about my process of learning about the American Revolution. I learned many interesting things about the American Revolution. I read articles, took notes, watched videos, did many projects, and much more. First, we read books and articles about the American Revolution, and then we watched videos about it too. We also had a tablet with many videos and resources about the American Revolution. It was very interesting, and I learned a lot of exciting things. After we learned enough about the American Revolution, everyone was assigned groups to do a post-it board. We had to add notes from the articles notes from the articles onto a Padlet, then onto a board. We could design it in any way we wanted. We also are making infographics, and we copied it onto, after we finished the timeline, we copied it onto a digital one, which we'll call our infographics. These were our final infographics. Then we started a pretend debate over what the colonists should do with the taxes. The whole 4th grade is also working on a huge project to create a boat that we can fit in. We get to name and paint the boat. I'm very excited to go inside, and it was really fun building. In conclusion, this Ignite is a summary of all the exciting things I did and learned about the American Revolution. I'm very excited to finish all of these projects. I hope you enjoy.
This way.
Hi, my name is Morgan. Do you know what the Road to Revolution is? Glad you stopped by. I'm going to tell you about it. We studying all the events leading up to the American Revolution and lots more. I hope you enjoy my presentation. This is my board. On the board there are facts about the American Revolution, the events leading up to the American Revolution, and King George III. I spent a lot of time researching the facts. This is my infographic. It is just like the board with facts about the events leading up to the American Revolution, and King George III. We did a debate. There are two sides, loyalists and patriots. I am a loyalist. The question that we have to answer should Britain keep rule over the colonists. We are making a boat using tools. We are using drills. The name that we are going to name it is a Libertium Navis. It means Liberty Ship in Latin. In conclusion, I love learning about the American Revolution. It is so interesting, and I love learning about all the facts.
Hello, my name is Camilla, and today I'll be talking about the process of learning about the American Revolution. Ms. Boyer gave us a Padlet about the Revolutionary War. I learned a lot of cool facts. Let's go through the process. We read books, articles, and watched videos. I first learned about the French and Indian War. We first had to look at a Padlet about the Revolutionary War. I learned that the French did not fight the Indians, but they fought the colonists. We took notes every day from the Padlet. After we took notes, we started putting them on a board. We took notes from the French and Indian War, the Sugar Act, the Stamp Act, and many more. We are also building a boat. We're using wood, hammers, drills, and nails. The whole 4th grade is working on it. We are sanding the wood, drilling it, and making sure it is stable. We also have a debate. The debate has us acting like loyalists or patriots. I was a loyalist, but I wanted to be a patriot. I think that it is okay that I am a loyalist because it is more of a challenge. We also had a Zoom with the Boston Tea Party ships and museums.
3 people in our class had cards. We got cards with people that were either loyalists or patriots on it. If your part was called, then you had to say your speaking part. Studying the American Revolution was fun and exciting. It was hard, but it was mostly fun. I really liked studying about the Revolutionary War. I hope you enjoyed listening to this presentation as much as I liked studying it.
Hi, my name is Rodrigo. I'll be talking about my work while studying the events leading up to the American Revolution with my class. This was fun, especially the building. Ms. Boyer showed a Padlet with events in chronological order. The events are special events that happen in the American Revolution. I like Laureate Kids because it's like watching a show on social studies. The second thing I did was work with my group to create a timeline. We put events from the road to the American Revolution. My team didn't really cooperate together because we kept talking, except Andy. After the meeting with Mr. Gassel, we put the events from the board into a Google Drawing to create a timeline. We had safety lessons with drills and hammers. This was a lot of fun. We are also creating a 14 to 15 feet long boat. It's like a canoe but with flags. In conclusion, this was a lot of fun. I hope I could do something like this again. This was a good experience for building. I liked coloring the flags too, with fabric markers. I hope I do something like this again.
Hello, my name is Trevor, and I'll be talking about the road to the American Revolution. We started off as a new unit of taking notes for homework after school. Miss Boyer supplied us with a tablet with resources on the American Revolution. We watched videos, read articles, and took notes for about a week and a half, and then Miss Boyer gave us a new project. Here we're going to create a storyline. We organized all the events leading up to the American Revolution there. My group was Jay and I. On the 7th of May, Miss Volpe came into our classroom and presented us with a new project. We were going to run a debate. She split us up into 2 groups, the Loyalists and the Patriots. I was a Loyalist. My debating group was Hagen and Christian. Mr. Casal came into the classroom and talked about a new project. We were going to create an infographic, a virtual timeline of the American Revolution. It was very fun creating the infographic. I hope you enjoyed it. In conclusion, this was an amazing experience, and I learned a lot about how to classify information from large bodies of paragraphs. Thank you so much for coming to my yard. I hope you liked it as much as I did. Bye!
Hi, my name is Natalie, and I am going to talk about my process learning about the American Revolution. Some facts are confusing and some are really interesting. I took a lot of notes and did a lot of research. When I learned about the American Revolution, it wasn't easy. Some things were challenging for me to understand. When I first learned about the French and Indian War, I thought the war was between the French and Indians, not the British. When I researched, I used a Padlet filled with articles and videos about the events leading up to the Revolutionary War. I took pages of notes. I even read a book on the American Revolution. Everything was helpful. During my research, I worked with tools. I drilled, hammered, and practiced nailing in wood. We used the tools for a leading project building a Boston Tea Party ship. All the work was worth it.
The class was put into groups separated by patriots and loyalists for debate. I wanted to be a patriot, but I was put as a loyalist. Later on, I realized that being a loyalist is actually fun. Then I did debating. I learned a lot about the American Revolution. Overall, it was one of my favorite units to do. I want to thank my teachers for teaching me about the American Revolution. Thanks for listening.
Hi, I'm Trinity, and this presentation is about all the amazingly fun projects I did in class to learn about the American Revolution. I hope you enjoyed this astonishing presentation I put together. I really liked learning facts from the past because we're basically learning about how we became what we are today. And to learn these facts, I looked at a new resource from the Padlet every night and jotted down some notes I could contribute to the group notebook. I really liked designing the infographic because you gotta play around with it and make it your own. It's so cool how you can transform a boring gold notebook into something that looks so cool and colorful. I really like the group and debate because I want to be a lawyer when I grow up. I love the feeling of having such a good debate you leave the other side completely speechless. And last but certainly not least, we're building a ship. I had some hard times learning how to use the drill. Once I used it in reverse against the wood and it smelled like roasting marshmallows. Thanks for listening to this presentation. I worked very hard at putting together. It took a lot of time and a lot of effort to make it happen.
Hi, my name is Brooke, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my process of learning about the American Revolution. I learned how to make an infographic, build a boat, and so much more really fun stuff. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. The first thing that we did was research. Ms. Boyer gave us a big Padlet full of great resources on the events leading up to the American Revolution. I read a lot of Duxter's articles and watched a lot of Brain Pop videos. This was a great way to start the projects. The next thing that we did was we were in groups and we made a timeline of the events leading up to the American Revolution using our notes from the Padlet. The next thing that we did was we made an infographic. The infographic was basically a digital version of what we did with the foam boards. Mr. Casale told us not to make it too colorful or else it would be hard to read. The next thing that we did was we were using tools to build a Boston Tea Party ship replica. We learned how to use drills and we learned how to use hammers. We ended up naming the boat Libertatum Navis. The next thing that we did was a patriot versus loyalist debate. I was a loyalist and I was kind of upset about it, but I still had fun. I was with Natalie and Rodrigo in my group. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I had so much fun. Learning about the American Revolution, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Hi, I'm Java. I've been working on many social studies projects. In this Ignite, I will show and tell you what I did. I made a timeline draft, woodwork, timeline, and debate. So I hope you enjoy my Ignite. Isabella, Sophia, and I shared one board. We constantly added facts as we did research about the American Revolution. I think it was outstanding that we all worked on separate events so we could be more efficient. This was very helpful for another project. The other project I worked on was a ship. It is based on the ships in the Boston Tea Party. It is my favorite of all because you get to use many tools to build a wooden ship. I had a really fun time designing my symbol of freedom for a tea crate. I also made a timeline/infographic. It uses all the information from my board and summarizes all the events perfectly. I had a really fun time using tools and features on Google Drawing and designing graphics. Finally, I wrote a debate. I was a patriot and I debated against loyalists. Group work was challenging, but we got a lot done in little time. I hope you enjoyed my Ignite as much as I did making it. Huzzah!
Hi, I'm Sophia, and I'm going to talk about my process of learning the road to the revolution. The research on the calendar. There were links to websites. I read articles and watched videos. This part of the research was pretty interesting because we learned a lot of new information. Together with Isabella and Jabba, we started a timeline. We put events in order. I was nervous at first, but after I got the hang of it. We put facts about the events under it, like a column. The events we used were the French and Indian War, the Sugar Act, the Stamp Act, the Boston Massacre, the Boston Tea Party. I love learning more about the Boston Tea Party because it was very interesting. The war, this is my infographic. We put the main facts about the event under it, to keep it simple. It was really fun, and I tried really hard to keep it simple. The fourth grade had a Zoom with the Boston Tea Party Ships Museum. We learned about the ships and the names of the tea. This is very interesting because some people got to speak, and it was like being at the Boston Tea Party. To conclude, we learned about the events leading up to the Revolutionary War, and we got to do fun projects on it. Thank you so much for watching.
Hi, my name is Alyssa, and I'm going to tell you about the road to the revolution and how I learned about it. I'll also be telling you about some of the fun projects I did along the way that helped me learn about it. The Stamp Act text paper products, the Sugar Act text sugar products, the Townshend Act text imported goods. I learned about this through many different articles and videos. With all the different resources, it was very easy to learn something new. We also made a storyboard that we filled with information on various events, such as the Stamp Act and the Boston Massacre. This later served as an information source for our infographic. This is my infographic. I used information from research to fill this up. We got to use hammers and drills to build the boat. It was really fun, and we got to sit on the boat and name it. We also got to stage a debate. There were two sides, the Patriots and the Loyalists. Our topic was, should we become independent or should we continue to live under British rule? We all had to write a script that defended the point. Thanks for listening.
Christian, and I'll be talking about the process of learning about the American Revolution. I'll be mostly talking about projects that I did. I used notes from a Padlet that my teacher gave to the class. Our first project was a timeline of events leading to the American Revolution. We worked in groups. I learned that sometimes King George didn't want to tax the colonists, but he had no choice. We often wrote reflections on something that has to do with the American Revolution. In my opinion, I thought this was really boring at the start, but now I'm starting to realize that this was really important. We created infographics. An infographic is basically a graphic of information. I used a timeline to help me because they're really similar. This project was really entertaining because we got to use all types of colors and shapes. Ms. Wilby taught us debating. We were debating over the question, should the colonies become independent from Great Britain? The last project is still in progress. We are going to build a ship from the Boston Tea Party. We have to practice using hammers and drills so we won't get hurt in the process of building the ship. We named the ship the Libertum Navis. We made symbol of freedoms to decorate flags and tea boxes. In conclusion, all these projects are really fun and super helpful in learning about the American Revolution. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.
Hello. Today I will be talking about my experience learning about the American Revolution. It was an amazing experience, and there are so many things that I never thought about and then learned in these projects. Huzzah! First, I saw a video with my class, and then I wanted to know what were the most important battles in the American Revolution. The two most important battles were the Battle of Saratoga and the Battle of Yorktown. By the time I had learned this, I had learned so much about the American Revolution. Then, we got a Padlet with a lot of info on it. Every night, I would read another post on the Padlet and then write notes about it. This was helpful for a different project. Then, this is the project that I was saying it would be helpful for, and we made a poster board, and all of the post-its were inspired by the notes I wrote for the Padlet. I learned a lot of cool and funny facts, like after the Continental Congress, John Adams said that if one man said 2 + 3 = 5, it would take days to decide if they were right. Then we did a debate where you were either a loyalist or a patriot. I was a loyalist, and I had to convince the patriots that the king was right. It is hard when you end up losing in history, but I am trying my best. Then we made a ship out of wood, and we got to use hammers and drills. This was my favorite part of the whole experience, and this is how we're still working on it now. Huzzah! Huzzah!
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, parents and guests, for joining us. 4th graders, as you can see, this was hard. You just did seriously hard stuff. This is stuff I've told you that high schoolers do, that middle schoolers do, and you are well prepared for some seriously big speech contests in the future. And this may have made you a little nervous, maybe, but it's over, and you did it. Everybody, you're amazing. And parents and guests, thank you so much for visiting. Have a great day.